We are constantly receiving our present moment experience through these internal representations of the past, interpreting what's happening now through the neurological networks of those emotional, relational, and trauma schemas formed during childhood. We are using old templates to deal with our emotions and new situations. These mental models or schemas map the present onto the past, determining how much of a particular emotion we feel, how long the emotion lasts, and to what extent it affects our thinking and choosing, responding and relating. Something minor happens but you overreact and say terrible things to someone you love, or else you clam up and withdraw and can't respond, or you dissociate and zone out. Why does this happen? This emotional baggage from childhood that we carry around all the time is not the kind that we can just unpack whenever we choose. It's more like the old ball and chain, permanently shackled to body, heart, soul, and mind, that you can't break away from since it's part of you. Emotional core memory anchors bind us to our forgotten past and keep us stuck in unpleasant feeling states, along with the perpetual turbulence of the same old compulsive thought and behavior patterns, unable to navigate the flowing moment. In order to trace this heavy chain of associations down into the abysmal depths, we need to know more about our history with each of our emotions, so that we can begin to feel our way back into them. From the very beginning of life, you were imbibing mommy and daddy's functional and dysfunctional patterns, how they treated each other and how they talked to each other, how they expressed their emotions and how they coped with stress, how they went about getting their needs met, how they respected or violated each other's boundaries, and how they protected and enforced their own boundaries. Mostly, your personality was shaped by the way they treated you, how they allowed or prevented you from expressing your feelings, and how they disciplined or punished you. As kids, we watched the grown-ups around us struggling to express their feelings. We observed adults, especially our parents, interacting with each other, and often it was pleasant, even fun, but when there was a misunderstanding, conflict, or stress, it was rare to see grown-ups communicate fairly about their upset and express their emotions effectively to resolve interpersonal issues or conflict. Typically, one vents their upset at the expense of the other, sometimes in a grown-up tantrum or explosion, while the other silently suppresses and internalizes that energy and trains and embeds it, eventually leading to an unseen implosion. Now, as grown-ups, we watch our kids struggling to express their feelings and we want to help them, but we don't really know how. Children are not perfect little angels, nor are they rotten little baboons. They are learning to use their bodies and minds, learning to walk and talk, learning to express themselves and use their emotions, testing boundaries and figuring out how things and people work. And when something doesn't go their way, they are bound to get upset. Parents can respond to a child's upset in different ways, and kids will learn to feel, regulate, evaluate, and express their emotions accordingly. The child's neural networks for emotional self-regulation and self-calming are being shaped by the parent's capacity for these very same things. It's tricky, and many parents struggle to get that delicate balance just right, that Goldilocks zone of not too hot, not too cold, just right. We would all like to be warm, loving parents and cool, fun parents, but somewhere along the line we lose the plot, especially when there's stress or upset, and we reflexively resort to old habitual ways of punishing or avoiding. We're not sure where to draw the line because our own internal lines got blurred and skewed. Our own boundaries and proportions have long ago been warped and distorted, and so we either under or overdo it. Let's say your child is upset. How would you respond? Number 1, remain calm, listen patiently, encouraging her to explain what happened. Help her to evaluate and understand the situation fairly and objectively, taking into account other people's perspectives and empathizing with their feelings, figuring out why she got upset and what she can do to feel better and calmer, and then supporting her as she acts on her resolution. The authoritative or supportive parenting style is high on both responsiveness and demandingness or discipline. Number 2, get angry, shout, blame, and threaten the child. Demand that she be quiet and obedient. Shut up and do as you're told or else. Ignore and invalidate her feelings and force her to contain and hide her emotions with all their bursting internal energy and tension. Punish her by shaming her, criticize her, hit her, and or revoke her privileges. The authoritarian or harsh parent is punishing but not affectionate and calming. Number 3, rush to your child's side and quickly comply with her demands. Give her whatever she wants to pacify her and keep her happy regardless of the consequences to others. Ignore the hurt she may have caused to a sibling, peer, friend, or even a grown-up. Then forget about it and pretend like it never happened. The permissive, spoiling parent is ultra-responsive and dependent, but never demanding and does not or cannot discipline. Number 4, do nothing. You're not interested, don't really give a shit. Ignore the child until she gets tired and just shuts the hell up or sobs herself to sleep. Or maybe you punch her in the face or violate her in some other way. The uninvolved, neglecting or abusive parent is low on both responsiveness and demandingness, and also low on basic care like feeding, hygiene, play, attunement, and may also be routinely traumatizing or abusing the child. Kids are either taught to express their emotions meaningfully, or they are forced to repress them by hiding, denying, or over-internalizing those energies. Or they're allowed emotion in excess by amplifying, exaggerating, and over-externalizing their upset. Or they are regularly driven into a dissociative, chaotic state of chronic distress. And this consistent pattern of treatment results in these habitual emotional schemas, which form the foundation and core of the child's personality and possible future psychopathology.